So when we're on the range and we're working fades and draws and we're giving ourselves a nice variety, number one, when you're practicing on the range, the first thing you want to do is practice your routine, right? So I have a target. I'm going to do some dry swings over these two golf balls here. I have a beautiful little cedar tree in front of me. I want to hit a nice fade from the left side of the cedar tree back to behind the cedar tree. I use my intermediate point. I'm going to aim left edge of that intermediate point. I'm going to set up above the ball, club in the center, ball forward. I look out there and say, yep, that fits. So takeaway fits, follow through fits. Yes, that feels like I'm creating that shot. Now, for many of you who are trying to make sure that you do it properly, I understand that need. And when you're on the range, this is what's really cool. The reason why things work out on the range is because you miss a shot. The brain identifies what was missing feel-wise, and the very next swing, you obviously perform better. So if we could do a little scramble with ourselves and take 3 or 4 balls and hit 3 or 4 balls on every shot, we would end up having way better scores, wouldn't we? Well, practice. The practice swing, this is another way of getting a really good practice swing sequence for you. Do that, imagine, predict. So let's say if you're trying to hit a fade, all your brain needs is a reference. It wants to know what is too much fade, what's not enough fade, and what would be in between. Goldilocks. You know, Goldilocks is looking better and better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim way left. And I'm going to open that face big time and swing way across and feel like I'm going to hit this big slice around. Then I'm going to aim a little less left. And I'm going to go, okay, that feels left edge of the tree. Bingo. So if that doesn't work, do one way right. That would be the draw working its way on the other side of the tree. Then the brain goes, haha, I know exactly what was missing. It's the one in between. Then you set up, lower yourself, feel that same swing that you had from in between. So you've just performed 3 shots on the driving range, and you were able to predict which one was going to work best. So that's what I encourage you to do on the golf course, is create 3 scenarios, 1 too strong, 1 not strong enough, 1 just right. So if, let's say I wanted to hit a higher shot, I'm trying to go over the tree. You're thinking, well, how do I get over these trees here? Okay, well, let's do a practice rehearsal. I'm going to go 1 that's way high over the trees. So low to high. So that feels like I can really scream it way over those trees. Now I'm going to go 1 that's way too low. It's going to go into the trees. Yep, that's going straight into the trees. Well, now my brain just figured out how we're going to get just over those trees. So if you do the same thing for the draw, and you do the same thing for contact, you could do it right here next to the ball and say, okay, I've been having trouble with contact. If your focus is on getting better contact with the ball, you are seriously sabotaging yourself, because the contact always relates to how I'm delivering to my target. So I have to make the contact part of the target. So I'm going to take a practice swing right next here, do my fade. I'm going to say, okay, if I put that ball way too far forward, I can't get to it. If I play the ball too far back, it feels like I have to reach back to get to it. Here you go. That feels like it's really solid. And it feels like when I swing, I'm not going to hit anything. I'm going to barely graze the grass. Oh, now I got the ground. So if I swing left of that cedar tree, there we go. I got it. I did release to the cedar tree. I see that the divot would have been well in front of that ball, and that feels like I would have had really good contact. Fantastic. See the approach? So then I just move forward. Same direction, check. Everything checks out. If I swing left the cedar tree, does it feel like I'm going to hit it solid? Yes. Well, now, all you have to do is you've done your homework, give control away to gravity, and look for gravity to let it release you in that direction, just like that practice swing felt, okay? So if you feel that you've been helping the shots too much, here's another way of doing it. So you know what a good swing feels like. You know when it feels effortless and it feels powerful and it feels easy to produce. So do a practice swing that you feel would be way too forceful. Well, that felt like I had to use a lot of ribs and a lot of arms to shove the club. Do one that feels extremely easy to produce. Yep, it felt like the swing released itself in that direction. So if you go to my throwing the club video, remember that beautiful video we did on throwing the club, and we were throwing it in different parts of that net? Well, I'm going to throw it gently to the left of that cedar tree, just to the base of the bush right there. Yep, that would have just tumbled into the tree right there. Okay, so now I'm going to do a nice throw that feels like I got enough to get to my target. Beautiful. So that felt powerful. It felt like I had a nice velocity, and it felt whippy. It felt slingy, and it felt like a nice throw in the direction I wanted to go. So just recall the feel that you want to use to go to that target. So for many of you, you walk up to the ball and you go, okay, I'm going that way. All right, make sure. Right away you're tense. You don't understand, you don't know what feel that you want to use. So therefore, now you're going to have a tendency to react to the situation. If there's water, if there's out of bounds, if there's a lot of wind, that's going to make you tense. And then because you're not summoning the feel that you want to use for that particular shot, well, you're at the mercy of the situation. Don't want to do that. You want to be able to predict what's going to happen. When you're able to predict what's going to happen, good things happen. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed that. Have a blast creating a session or a routine that's going to allow you to perform the feel that you want to use and the direction that you want to use, like for your draws and your fades. This would hook too much. That one would not draw enough. This one's going to draw really nicely. That's where you're really fine-tuning that release in your swing for the draw. And that we use for that. Remember the sword? Feel the weight of the sword release me. Feel the weight of the sword release me. Top spin backhand. Got it. Ball back too much. Get behind it too much. Yep, that would go way too much to the right. Don't want that. Ball hair back. Right edge. Yeah, that's the shot. And if I play the ball a little more forward and I go straight, now it feels like there's no draw. I might even pull it a bit or cut it a bit. Enjoy that. That's how you're going to bring your practice from the driving range out to the golf course with way more success. See you in the next one.